This is a summary of A Course in Miracles, Chapter 27, The Healing of the Dream, Section 1, The Picture of the Crucifixion. The wish to be unfairly treated is a compromise attempt that would combine attack and innocence. Walk you the gentle way, and you will fear no evil and no shadows in the night. You cannot crucify yourself alone, and if you are unfairly treated, he must suffer the unfairness that you see. You cannot sacrifice yourself alone, for sacrifice is total. In your release from sacrifice is his made manifest and shown to be his own. But every pain you suffer do you see as proof that he is guilty of attack. Whenever you consent to suffer pain, to be deprived, unfairly treated, or in need of anything, you but accuse your brother of attack upon God's Son. You hold a picture of your crucifixion before his eyes, that he may see his sins are writ in heaven in your blood and death, and go before him, closing off the gate and damning him to hell. This sick and sorry picture you accept, if only it can serve to punish him. Now in the hands made gentle by his touch, the Holy Spirit lays a picture of a different you. It is a picture of a body still, for what you really are cannot be seen nor pictured. Yet this one has not been used for purpose of attack, and therefore never suffered pain at all. It witnesses to the eternal truth that you cannot be hurt, and points beyond itself to both your innocence and his. Attest his innocence, and not his guilt. Adornment of the body seeks to show how lovely are the witnesses for guilt. Concerns about the body demonstrate how frail and vulnerable is your life, how easily destroyed is what you love. The strongest witness to futility, that bolsters all the rest and helps them paint the picture in which sin is justified, is sickness in whatever form it takes. These are not sins, but witnesses unto the strange belief that sin and death are real, and innocence and sin will end alike within the termination of the grave. If this were true, there would be reason to remain content to seek for passing joys and cherish little pleasures where you can. Yet in this picture is the body not perceived as neutral and without a goal inherent in itself. The Holy Spirit's picture changes not the body into something it is not. It only takes away from it all signs of accusation and of blamefulness. No grounds are offered that it may be judged in any way at all. Into this empty space, from which the goal of sin has been removed, is heaven free to be remembered. Here its peace can come, and perfect healing take the place of death. The simple way to let this be achieved is merely this: to let the body have no purpose from the past, when you were sure you knew its purpose was to foster guilt. You do not know its purpose. Let, then, its purpose and your function both be reconciled at last and seen as one. In summary, Section 1, the picture of the crucifixion is saying, we do not know what we truly do when we see ourselves as crucified or unfairly treated by others. We are upholding a false picture of ourselves and giving it the strength of reality. We are believing in what is untrue about ourselves. Why would we do this? Why do we wish to believe we are so frail that the Son of God, of whom we are each a part, can be hurt by anything within a world of illusion? It is because we are listening to the ego, and the ego desires to reflect your pain and suffering back upon those whom you accuse of unfair treatment, that they may bear it instead of you. Thus do you make yourself innocent and they the guilty ones. It is the ego's way of punishing others, of trying to attack God. Yet the Holy Spirit asks us to see the world another way. The body is not for holding another guilty for their crimes against you. It is for release from such ego-imprisoning thoughts. Since the body is itself a symbol of our guilty choice to be separate from God, then the way to undo this choice is to cease to believe it is who we are. Cease to judge what bodies do and say to you, and you release them from your ego. You have forgiven them. You have relinquished your goal of sin or separation and allowed God's goal of peace and unity to replace it. Do not see the picture of the crucifixion of yourself. See instead God's wholeness. Section 2. The fear of healing. Is healing frightening? To many, yes. For accusation is a bar to love, and damaged bodies are accusers. Who has been injured by his brother and could love and trust him still? To forgive may be an act of charity, but not his due. The unhealed cannot pardon. They would retain the consequences of the guilt they overlook. His pardon and your hurt cannot exist together. To witness sin and yet forgive it is a paradox that reason cannot see, for it maintains what has been done to you deserves no pardon. The sick remain accusers. For no one in whom true forgiveness rests can suffer. Who forgives is healed, and in his healing lies the proof that he has truly pardoned and retains no trace of condemnation that he still would hold against himself or any living thing. A miracle of healing proves that separation is without effect. Your body can be a means to teach that it has never suffered pain because of him, for here is his forgiveness proved to him. So does your healing show your mind is healed and has forgiven what he did not do. Brother, there is no death. How just are miracles, for they bestow an equal gift of full deliverance from guilt upon your brother and yourself. The cost of your serenity is his. Who, then, fears healing? Only those to whom their brother's sacrifice and pain are seen to represent their own serenity. The constant sting of guilt he suffers serves to prove that he is slave, but they are free. Correction is not your function. It belongs to one who knows of fairness, not of guilt. If you assume correction's role, you lose the function of forgiveness. Identity and function are the same, and by your function do you know yourself. In a split mind, identity must seem to be divided. Correction, to a mind so split, must be a way to punish sins you think are yours in someone else, and thus does he become your victim, not your brother, different from you in that he is more guilty, thus in need of your correction as the one more innocent than he. Correction you would do must separate, because that is the function given it by you. Your brother's sins become the central target for correction, lest your errors and his own be seen as one. In this interpretation of correction, your own mistakes you will not even see. The focus of correction has been placed outside yourself, on one who cannot be a part of you while this perception lasts. This is your brother, focus of your hate, unworthy to be part of you and thus outside yourself, the other half which is denied. Correction must be left to one who knows correction and forgiveness are the same. In his acceptance of this function lies the means whereby your mind is unified. His single purpose unifies the halves of you that you perceive as separate, and each forgives the other, that he may accept his other half as part of him. In summary, Section 2, The Fear of Healing, is saying, healing means the healing of our mind, the healing of our idea of separation, from which all other forms of healing spring. Why would we fear this? Because it means the death of our ego. Think how difficult it is to simply let someone off the hook for something you perceive they have done wrong. Yet it is only our ego that perceives wrongdoing, for the Holy Spirit knows we cannot be harmed. The body may be killed, but our spirit can never die. Even so, how do we come to terms with the vilest acts of humanity? The answer lies in our function of forgiveness. If our identity is our function, and our function is forgiveness, and forgiveness is to overlook the world of form, to still our inner thoughts about the world, then we must be the stillness. Let go of all ego thoughts, any thoughts that have to do with bodies. Be still, and in that stillness, know that God joins both you and all others in His quiet love, despite what you may see going on outside of you. Let this idea rest in your mind, healing it of all thoughts of separation. You do not have to like or accept anything the body does. Just let go of your thoughts about it. And in this quiet state of mind, you will cease to fear the idea of letting go of separation. You will cease to fear your healing. Section 3. Beyond all symbols. Power cannot oppose, for opposition would weaken it, and weakened power is a contradiction in ideas. Power is unopposed to be itself. Who can understand a double concept such as weakened power or hateful love? You have decided that your brother is a symbol for a hateful love, a weakened power, and above all, a living death. And so, he has no meaning to you, for he stands for what is meaningless. Symbols, which but represent ideas that cannot be, must stand for empty space and nothingness. The picture of your brother that you see means nothing. The picture has been wholly canceled out because it symbolized a contradiction that canceled out the thought it represents, and thus the picture has no cause at all. Let then the empty space it occupies be recognized as vacant, and the time devoted to its seeing be perceived as idly spent, a time unoccupied. An empty space that is not seen as filled, an unused interval of time not seen as spent and fully occupied, become a silent invitation to the truth to enter and to make itself at home. For what you leave as vacant, God will fill, and where He is, there must the truth abide. As nothingness cannot be pictured, so there is no symbol for totality. Reality is ultimately known without form, unpictured and unseen. Forgiveness is the means by which the truth is represented temporarily. And what will ultimately take the place of every learning aid will merely be. Forgiveness vanishes and symbols fade, and nothing that the eyes have ever seen or ears have heard remains to be perceived. A power wholly limitless has come, not to destroy, but to receive its own. Give welcome to the power beyond forgiveness and beyond the world of symbols and of limitations. He would merely be, and so he merely is. In summary, Section 3, Beyond All Symbols, is saying, when we decided to become bodies, we became a symbol of our separation from God. Yet, such a symbol is a contradiction to the truth. We cannot separate from that which sustains us. If we could, we would cease to exist. Therefore, our bodies contradict what God would have us be, and thus, such a form cancels itself out. We cannot be two things, separate and one at the same time. Only one can be true. Forgiveness undoes the contradiction of the symbol of our bodies. Forgiveness quietly looks beyond the world and all its forms of separation, knowing only our unity is true. We are one, despite what our eyes may see. Do not be concerned that your eyes may still see bodies and the world, for forgiveness merely takes us to truth's doorstep. And in this vacant space, the space left open where all ego thoughts are still, God will write His truth upon your heart. Yet the new world that arises from the truth cannot be seen with bodily eyes, for there is no symbol for totality. And so, forgiveness is the means we use to go beyond all symbols. Section 4. The Quiet Answer. In quietness are all things answered, and is every problem quietly resolved. In conflict there can be no answer and no resolution, for its purpose is to make no resolution possible, and to ensure no answer will be plain. You are in conflict. Yet, if God gave an answer, there must be a way in which your problems are resolved, for what He wills already has been done. Therefore, God must have given you a way of reaching to another state of mind in which the answer is already there. Such is the holy instant. Attempt to solve no problems but within the holy instant's surety, for there the problem will be answered and resolved. Outside there will be no solution, for there is no answer there that could be found. All questions asked within this world are but a way of looking, not a question asked. A question asked in hate cannot be answered, because it is an answer in itself. It is this: of these illusions, which of them is true? Which ones establish peace and offer joy? And which can bring escape from all the pain of which this world is made? Whatever form the question takes, its purpose is the same. It asks but to establish sin as real, and answers in the form of preference. What can the body get that you would want the most of all? Thus is all questioning within the world of form a propaganda for itself. An honest question is a learning tool that asks for something that you do not know. Only within the holy instant can an honest question honestly be asked. The questions of the world but ask, of whom is sacrifice demanded, not asking if sacrifice is meaningful at all. And so, unless the answer tells of whom, it will remain unrecognized, unheard, and thus the question is preserved intact because it gave the answer to itself. The holy instant is the interval in which the mind is still enough to hear an answer that is not entailed within the question asked. In the holy instant, you can bring the question to the answer and receive the answer that was made for you. In summary, Section 4, The Quiet Answer, is saying, at some point in our lives, we all ask, who am I? The ego will gladly answer for you, making the false assumption that you are a body. And then, next it will ask, and which of the illusions of the world is best for my body? The holy instant is the interval in which the ego's voice is still, and you listen for a new and different answer to a question not asked of your false self. To do this, you must erase the assumption you are a body. Clear this idea from your mind and allow the Holy Spirit to offer you something new, an answer you never dreamed of. The answer to the question, "Who am I?" is found not in wondering, "How can I make what I think I am happy?" You are not that thing, but rather ask yourself, "How can I learn who I am so that I may know God?" For then the quiet answer will tell you, you are one who is beloved of God Himself. Rejoice that you are not what your ego told you you were. None of that is true. Only your holy oneness with perfection is your identity. Accept this quiet answer for everyone, and you are free. Section 5. The Healing Example. The only way to heal is to be healed. The miracle extends without your help, but you are needed that it can begin. No one can ask another to be healed, but he can let himself be healed and thus offer the other what he has received. No one is healed through double messages. If you wish only to be healed, you heal. Your single purpose makes this possible. But if you are afraid of healing, then it cannot come through you. The only thing that is required for a healing is a lack of fear. The holy instant is the miracle's abiding place. There is no sadness where a miracle has come to heal, and nothing more than just one instant of your love without attack is necessary that all this occur. A dying world asks only that you rest an instant from attack upon yourself, that it be healed. The holy instant's radiance will light your eyes and give them sight to see beyond all suffering and see Christ's face instead. Thus is your healing everything the world requires that it may be healed. It needs one lesson that has perfectly been learned. Problems are not specific, but they take specific forms, and these specific shapes make up the world. And no one understands the nature of his problem. The total transfer of your learning is not made by you, but that it has been made in spite of all the differences you see convinces you that they could not be real. Your healing will extend and will be brought to problems that you thought were not your own. Fear you not the way that you perceive them. You are wrong, but there is one within you who is right. Your part is merely to apply what he has taught you to yourself, and he will do the rest. Peace to you to whom is healing offered, and you will learn that peace is given you when you accept the healing for yourself. What occurred within the instant that love entered in without attack will stay with you forever. Everywhere you go, will you behold its multiplied effects. Yet all the witnesses that you behold will be far less than all there really are. Infinity cannot be understood by merely counting up its separate parts. God thanks you for your healing, for He knows it is a gift of love unto His Son, and therefore is it given unto Him. In summary, Section 5, the healing example, is saying, we are told that the only way we can heal others is to be healed ourselves. The only thing we need to have healed is the false idea about who we are. Heal the idea of our separation from one another, and you heal the entire dream. However, total transfer of healing from yourself to the entire illusion of this world is not done by us, but by God. Our part is only to let this idea become truly believed by us. Then, everywhere we go, we will uphold only unity with our seemingly separated brethren. And yet, even more than these separate parts are healed, our healing will extend into infinity, to all creation, even to that which is currently unknown to us. Therefore, let our single purpose be to love one another as Christ has loved us. Do not fear to do this, for in this way we follow the healing example already given us. Section 6. The Witnesses to Sin. Pain demonstrates the body must be real. It is a loud, obscuring voice whose shrieks would silence what the Holy Spirit says and keep His words from your awareness. Pain compels attention, drawing it away from Him and focusing upon itself. Its purpose is the same as pleasure, for they both are means to make the body real. Sin shifts from pain to pleasure and again to pain. For either witness is the same and carries but one message. You are here within this body and you can be hurt. You can have pleasure too, but only at the cost of pain. Call pleasure pain and it will hurt. Call pain a pleasure and the pain behind the pleasure will be felt no more. This body, purposeless within itself, holds all your memories and all your hopes. You use its eyes to see, its ears to hear, and let it tell you what it is it feels. It does not know. God's witness sees no witnesses against the body. He knows it is not real. Each miracle He brings is witness that the body is not real. Its pains and pleasures does He heal alike, for all sin's witnesses do His replace. The miracle makes no distinctions in the names by which sin's witnesses are called. It merely proves that what they represent has no effects. It matters not the name by which you called your suffering. It is no longer there. The one who brings the miracle perceives them all as one and called by name of fear. Love, too, has symbols in a world of sin. The miracle forgives because it stands for what is past forgiveness and is true. It is their sameness that the miracle attests. It is their sameness that it proves. And God Himself has guaranteed the strength of miracles for what they witness to. Be you then witness to the miracle and not the laws of sin. There is no need to suffer any more. But there is need that you be healed, because the suffering and sorrow of the world have made it deaf to its salvation and deliverance. What better function could you serve than this? Be you healed that you may heal, and suffer not the laws of sin to be applied to you. The truth will be revealed to you who choose to let love's symbols take the place of sin. In summary, Section 6, The Witnesses to Sin, is saying, everything we see within this world of form is a witness to sin, or rather, our separation. The body is the loudest voice for proclaiming our separation, in that it is what we are experiencing the world through. And yet, its voice can change, depending on how we want to interpret it. We can feel pleasure or we can feel pain, yet both attest to the same thing. We are a body that can feel such things here in the world, and we feel through it to the exclusion of all else within us. For within is another voice, one who would tell us otherwise. Let us then choose not to hear the voice that speaks to us of everything outside our body, and shift our attention to the one within, who attests to our holiness, our sameness in God. Let us witness to miracles by seeing all the witnesses to sin, separation, as the same. Section 7. The Dreamer of the Dream. Suffering is an emphasis upon all that the world has done to injure you. Like to a dream of punishment, in which the dreamer is unconscious of what brought on the attack against himself, he sees himself attacked unjustly and by something not himself. Yet is his own attack upon himself apparent still, for it is he who bears the suffering, and he cannot escape because its source is seen outside himself. Now you are being shown you can escape. All that is needed is you look upon the problem as it is, and not the way that you have set it up. No one has difficulty making up his mind to let a simple problem be resolved if it is seen as hurting him, and also very easily removed. The reasoning by which the world is made, on which it rests, by which it is maintained, is simply this: you are the cause of what I do. Your presence justifies my wrath, and you exist and think apart from me. And so it seems as if there is no need to go beyond the obvious in terms of cause. There is indeed need. Vengeance must have a focus. Otherwise is the avenger's knife in his own hand and pointed to himself. This is the purpose of the world he sees. Look then, beyond effects. It is not here the cause of suffering and sin must lie. In separation from your brother was the first attack upon yourself, and it is this the world bears witness to. Once you were unaware of what the cause of everything the world appeared to thrust upon you, uninvited and unmasked, must really be. Of one thing you were sure: of all the many causes you perceived as bringing pain and suffering to you, your guilt was not among them. Nor did you in any way request them for yourself. This is how all illusions came about. The one who makes them does not see himself as making them, and their reality does not depend on him. No one can waken from a dream the world is dreaming for him. He cannot choose to waken from a dream he did not make. The choice is yours to make between a sleeping death and dreams of evil, or a happy wakening and joy of life. What could you choose between but life or death, waking or sleeping, peace or war, your dreams or your reality? Yet, if the choice is really given you, then you must see the causes of the things you choose between exactly as they are and where they are. The dreaming of the world is but a part of your own dream you gave away, and saw as if it were its start and ending both. The little gap you do not even see, the birthplace of illusions and of fear, the time of terror and of ancient hate, the instant of disaster, all are here. Here is the cause of unreality, and it is here that it will be undone. You are the dreamer of the world of dreams. No other cause it has, nor ever will. It is not difficult to change a dream once the dreamer has been recognized. Rest in the Holy Spirit, and allow his gentle dreams to take the place of those you dreamed in terror and in fear of death. The sleep is peaceful now, for these are happy dreams. Dream softly of your sinless brother, who unites with you in holy innocence, and from this dream the Lord of heaven will himself awaken his beloved Son. Forgive him his illusions, and give thanks to him for all the helpfulness he gave, and do not brush aside his many gifts, because he is not perfect in your dreams. And let no pain disturb your dream of deep appreciation for his gifts to you. In summary, Section 7, The Dreamer of the Dream, is saying, it is our tendency here in this world to point the finger at someone else as the cause of our suffering. The truth is, we are responsible for how we feel. No one else can control that but us, and we can heal our suffering the instant we take responsibility for it. We do this through admitting our suffering is our choice, and it is caused entirely by our misperception of others. Would you still feel angry if you saw how another was but a part of you, without their body, and sharing the same energy of love from God? Would you still feel vengeance or mistreated by them if you could see how their negative actions towards you were but a call for love. We dream this world is real, and the only way to wake is by admitting we have chosen it for our own experience, our own lessons in forgiveness. Each person is simply playing their part perfectly for us, be they villain or lover. All is acted out so that we can learn how to see them differently, to dream a gentler dream of them. To waken then, we only have to see their innocence, their sinless or bodiless light. As the dreamer of the dream, it is our sole responsibility to do so. Section 8. The hero of the dream. The body is the central figure in the dreaming of the world. It takes the central place in every dream, which tells the story of how it was made by other bodies, born into the world outside the body, lives a little while and dies, to be united in the dust with other bodies, dying like itself. The dreaming of the world takes many forms because the body seeks in many ways to prove it is autonomous and real. The body's serial adventures from the time of birth to dying are all the theme of every dream the world has ever had. The hero of this dream will never change, nor will its purpose. Thus, are you not the dreamer, but the dream, and so you wander idly in and out of places and events that it contrives. That this is all the body does is true, for it is but a figure in a dream. But who reacts to figures in a dream unless he sees them as if they were real? The instant that he sees them as they are, they have no more effects on him, because he understands he gave them their effects by causing them and making them seem real. How willing are you to escape effects of all the dreams the world has ever had? No one asleep and dreaming in the world remembers his attack upon himself. No one believes there really was a time when he knew nothing of a body and could never have conceived this world as real. How serious they now appear to be, and no one can remember when they would have met with laughter and with disbelief. We can remember this, if we but look directly at their cause, and we will see the grounds for laughter, not a cause for fear. Into eternity, where all is one, there crept a tiny mad idea, at which the Son of God remembered not to laugh. In his forgetting did the thought become a serious idea, and possible of both accomplishment and real effects. Together we can laugh them both away, and understand that time cannot intrude upon eternity. The world you see depicts exactly what you thought you did. It keeps you narrowly confined within a body which it punishes because of all the sinful things the body does within its dream. In gentle laughter does the Holy Spirit perceive the cause, and looks not to effects. The secret of salvation is but this, that you are doing this unto yourself. Whatever seems to be the cause of any pain and suffering you feel, this is still true. This single lesson learned will set you free from suffering, whatever form it takes. For this one answer takes away the cause of every form of sorrow and of pain, and you will understand that miracles reflect the simple statement, I have done this thing, and it is this I would undo. Bring then all forms of suffering to him who knows that every one is like the rest. He sees no differences where none exists, and he will teach you how each one is caused. Salvation is a secret you have kept but from yourself. How differently will you perceive the world when this is recognized? When you forgive the world your guilt, you will be free of it. And it is this that has maintained you separate from the world and kept your brothers separate from you. Now need you but to learn that both of you are innocent or guilty. The one thing that is impossible is that you be unlike each other, that they both be true. This is the only secret yet to learn, and it will be no secret you are healed. In summary, Section 8, the hero of the dream, is saying, in this dream, we do not know we dream. We cast our bodies as the stars, the main characters we use to act out all our ego desires. Everything we think about has the body at its center. When have our minds ever ceased to focus on it, or something related to its care and preservation? We think our dream of bodies and separation is real. The seriousness with which we respond to other bodies testifies to this. And yet, the Holy Spirit calls us to relinquish our tight hold on the idea of separation, giving in to a new thought. Perhaps none of this is real. Perhaps we are doing this all to ourselves. Perhaps we can dream a different dream. Once this single lesson is learned, salvation will soon follow. You will know that you have learned it by how you feel, for peace will overtake your mind, replacing all thoughts of attack, fear, and pain. Then you will truly be the hero of this dream, for you will have released, forgiven, all bodies you now think are separate from you, seeing them at long last as one with you in God's love. Then will the dream be healed. This concludes Chapter 27, The Healing of the Dream. Written, narrated, and produced by Beth Gear. For more from me, go to www.bethgear.com. There, you will also find the transcript to this video under the ACIM Chapter Summaries tab. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. You will be blessed by the blessing you extend. Thank you, and peace be with you.